So let's see where we want to go. So I know we've done, um, the house, we've done the playground, we've done the shoe house, we just did the fire station. Me and John did the skate park. I think me and Axel did the forest cottage. I don't recall doing the carousel. That's an interesting one. I'm pretty sure we did the treehouse. Yeah, I know we did the treehouse. The washroom is. I don't know if I want to do that one. Subway platform's gonna take too long. I think we might end up doing the carousel. Let's go. Let's go do some carousel actions. So
Yippee!
I
That
believe.
one's actually my favorite one because of how fun it was.
Yeah, I believe this should bring you in with me. I'm hoping it does, but we'll see what happens. If it doesn't, I can always just give you the room code again.
Alright, I'm loading in, so...
Oh, it does say you're here. All right, you can move around and stuff.
Alright.
Yeah, you can move around and stuff, right? Yeah, I see you moving around.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, all good.
All right, so we're on the carousel. So I'm going to stop it for right now. We do need to make a move at some point. But I'm going to stop it right now just to make it easier. I'm actually going to start from the top to the bottom, if you want to start bottom to top.
Alright.
Um, yeah, so in the last episode we were talking about, we were talking about multiple different things, because that's how these work. But we ended by talking about stories and the ARG and stuff like that. So I am curious, what is your thoughts on MDAC there? Because MDSE is a
Like,
fully custom creation. They are not from anything. They are from the depths of my own imagination. They are not from a game. They're not from an existing story. MDSE is a fake company name. In fact, it's actually I plan on registering it as a fake name so people can't use it. So, yeah, what's your feelings on MDSE?
yeah. My thoughts on NDAC as, like, a company as a whole, I obviously I don't like them because they're doing evil things, but in the like I hate them, but in a good way because they're like the characterization that they were given is well enough for me because you made it you made the story good to where we thought that Chara was the only evil one in the story, but when you introduced MDC, at first I was like, who the heck are these people? But when things actually started getting serious, that's when I was starting to get concerned with MDAC and the entire corporation. And I'm kind of scared of them because we kind of did give him access to like take over the channel all because we put in that command, but we learned the hard way that we can't always trust what we're told. Like if like maybe we thought the character that was telling us to do that was just a random person in the digital void, or maybe someone on Monika's team. So we were like, yeah, sure, let's do this. But it ended up being MDAC to trick us. And when we figured that out, we were just like, what the heck? We got trolled. and and now we're on the lookout for anything like evil that MDC tries to do. I actually enjoy. Here's the thing: I actually enjoy making theories about like more original character slash group of people in this case because you give you have more like a variety of things to think about, whereas like a video game character who actually does exist, you have to also think about like their character and like the lore of them in from that game. And obviously I'm no theorizer, but I do really like theorizing about MDAC since they're kind of like the main villain. Maybe, who knows, maybe there'll be a secret villain that will top MDAC, who knows. But yeah, I really I really the thing I do like about them is like since they're like AIs trying to get rid of Monica and trying to take over the back rooms by literally sending their employees in with basically no safety is ludicrous. And that's the thing about their character. They're kind of like, for the CEO, if the CEO is making these decisions, they're abusing like their power of like a boss, or like this as a CEO, I should say, since they're basically using their own employees to gain more like knowledge and power, which is obviously corrupted, but that's that that triggers you to want to take them down the best you can, and if you can, you kind of pray to make the good decisions that so that the characters in the story will take them down at some point without there being too much of a consequence with destroying them, because I'm kind of reading a book right now that does use the idea of corrupted power, where when someone's in control, they abuse that power by like kind of like gaslighting and manipulating their own, like in this case in the book it's comrades. I'm not reading this for free, I'm reading it in English class, but I'm making that connection, since that's what, to me, that's what MDAC feels like in the case, and to me that is good. That's a good character where the company is basically abusing their own um their own workers just so they can get more just so they can get more power and information, and they don't think about it whatsoever. They do it without hesitation. And and the thought of them wanting to help us when we're trying to basically get rid of them is kind of ironic, but in the sense where we're kind of like being at each other, but it's really they're really interesting to say for the least. But obviously I don't I don't like them as a they're very bad at trying to be a good company, since they're obviously corrupted, and they kind of force people to work for them and kill them if they refuse. So yeah.
Yeah, it's and then the whole thing with season 7 happened. Where I'm gonna just bet right now that it was Chosen, who's like the theory buff. He's like basically the reincarnation of Matt Pat for this channel. We read his theories. Anytime there's anytime we do our meeting, we read his theories and stuff. The season 7 finale specifically one. Again, I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything, obviously, but that was like the one that like it full on sounded like a Matt Pat theory episode, like the entirety of it. Because the season 7 finale had like, I believe it had like, wasn't that the one that had like 4? Because his thing was so long that like he couldn't even put it into one message. It was like 4 separate long messages.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think that's was the one.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, he's got the brains to think about stuff like that, but he's so good at it that it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, like what we plan to do. Again, I don't know what's happening currently as we're talking. For you guys, for us, it hasn't happened yet. But when we get to 10K, as a 10K celebration special, we're going to be doing a Q&A specifically for the ARG. Now, we've done Q&As before, but not for the ARG before. And you obviously won't be able to ask, like, oh, was I correct on this theory? Like, that's not going to answer that. But, like, you could ask questions about certain characters. You could ask questions about certain story elements, like that, all that jazz. But when I read the season 7 finale one specifically, I'm like, I was envisioning MatPat just reading it because like that's what it sounded like. Because he told an entire story based on what his hypothesis was. And yeah, well, now that we're actually talking about season 7, the season 7 finale was one of the most different season finales so far. Like
Oh yeah.
previously it was like you know, it sounds dumb, but it's previously it was just a black screen and like people talking, and like obviously
Yeah.
different events happening, but that's all it really was before. And then season 7 introduced the idea that hey, sometimes they're not just doing that. So what was your thoughts on season 7 specifically?
Yeah, season 7 was that's definitely like second place behind season 8 because of how interesting and like how unexpected it was. Like for the season finale, I was expecting something else to happen, but I wasn't expecting MDC to like directly talk to us. And like the thought of that, they just it just gives like off of more things about MDC that you can totally theorize on, and also other components about them, and like other things like, oh, what do they really want to do? Are they trying to lie to us? Are they actually trying to help us? Like, what's the goal here? Because obviously we, like us as the community, we don't trust them whatsoever with our guts because they murder their employees by sending them into the back rooms. They just completely manipulate people. They just do all of the devious acts. And when something like that is introduced, like when something new happens with them, that's when it gets really interesting because it kind of like it kind of slaps you in the face with like all of your expectations and like expectation. I'm saying that wrong,
Expectations?
but like yeah, yeah, like your expectations for them and who they were, because you thought that they're bad, that they're just a bad company that just wants to kill Monica and take over the backrooms. But when when they call out wanting to help you, that's when them as a character just gets really interesting because, like I said in the beginning, it was extremely unpredictable, and that just gives you like more ideas of what to think about. Because like I thought that because they said that they want to help us, but I still don't trust them. But still, I was not expecting them to say the things that they said,
Well,
which
yeah.
is another good
When
thing
it
about story.
what the one of the scariest things that a story can have, or one of the scariest things that really anything can have, is when a villain is right. Like think of like Thanos in a way that he wasn't right in Endgame. Endgame was just trying to kill everybody, but in Infinity War he was trying to help humans by snapping half of them away so that the other half would thrive essentially. And in a sense, he's right. There's problems with having too many people on Earth, but and then in Ashton's case, he's like everyone. This was like a thing I saw even in the live chat, but also in the theories, is that what Ashton was saying is right. As humans we're terrible to each other. We create wars. We're destroying the planet. Like all this stuff. Everything he was saying was right, and that's one of the scariest things in stories is when the villain is correct.
Yeah. I think that didn't that also happen in Far Cry 5 where Joseph
Well,
was completely right, or was that a different thing?
no, I mean he was right, but I mean he was right for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I'm more so talking about like the villains are trying to help, because I don't know. The Far Cry 5 story was like it was really good, but in the sense that like Joseph he wasn't directly killing anyone, whereas Pagan was. But he was still sending out people to kill them. So it's a little different. But in terms of Ashton and Thanos, they're kind of, and this I think someone even made that connection in the season 7 finale, but in the sense they're one and the same because they're trying to fix humanity they want to fix humanity, but they believe that they need to be in control of that in order to do it. And so, like I just said, one of the scariest things about stories like that is when the villain is right, then what? Like, are the heroes wrong, or like because they're trying to stop the people trying to help? Like that's the question.
Yeah, like some connections I can make with that specific season finale is like I watched some animes where the main character is like they're trying to fix the world that they're in, but they do it in the wrong way. Like that's the thing that I usually notice, and when people try to stop them, they automatically believe that that those people are trying to just they don't care about helping humanity and they want to probably destroy it. But and when that main character just goes on killing people, then they're not really the good guy, but they're trying to be the good guy. That's the thing. Like that's the most interesting things I find about villains is they're not trying to be the villain, but their actions are causing them to be the villain.
Yeah, and obviously, when it comes to MDSC specifically it's actually multiple people because it's a company. It's not one specific character. So like each character, because you've at this point, even for you guys probably listening to this in the future, you've seen a multitude of different characters that are inside of MDSC, and when it comes down to because there might be some characters you like, some characters you don't, because like obviously most of MDSC is just like Isabel mentioned before, is just a bunch of corrupt people trying to do bad things. But there might be a silver lining that you find when it comes to the actual people that are inside of it, because maybe not everyone likes the idea of getting sent to the back rooms. Maybe not everyone likes the idea of killing other people, like that kind of thing. But when it comes to MDSC as a whole, because obviously it wasn't directly stated, because there wasn't like a huge reveal like, oh, there's MDSC's behind everything or whatever. It was just like it was over the course of a couple of weeks, I believe, where they were introduced. So people, like Isabel said earlier, she wasn't exactly sure what they were. It was just like, oh, they're a thing that exists now, and like that kind of thing. And then people started to realize, oh crap, they're not just playing around. They mean business, like that kind of thing. And I find it interesting that people are like they're comparing the evil, like they're comparing Chara's evil, they're comparing MDSC's evil to each other. And I find that interesting because they're very different in a sense. Like they can be compared, sure, but what I'm saying is they're different in the sense that Chara was just bloodthirsty. She just wanted blood. She wanted specific things, whereas MDSC, they know their goals. They are trying to achieve their goals in more of a stealthy manner. So if you want to think about it, like here's a good comparison for you. Like Chara is more like a going guns blazing type of idea, and MDC is like a stealth kind of idea. Like they want to go in sort of under the radar. But did you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's all.
Was MDC just that boring to you? I see how it is.
Bro, I've talked about everything that was on my mind.
I can't believe this. But yeah, so like I said, I don't know when this video goes up for you guys. It might be in the midst of season 10. Who knows? But it's definitely been an interesting couple years here with the ARG, because like it's a lot of hoops we've gone through at this point. But yeah, when it comes to actually liking certain things, though, it's very interesting to hear what people like about certain things, what they don't like about certain things, because sometimes, like we mentioned earlier, sometimes you like stuff because it's good, and then sometimes you don't like stuff because it's bad. And like a good example of that is Monica and Herobrine. Monica's like the good guy. She's trying to help people. She's going to the human world to warn the humans about what's going on, that kind of thing. And I guess that's what we can talk about, because it's obviously I'm not going to say anything because I'm the one making the story. But now that Monica is on the human world, what do you think's next at this point?
I'm kind of worried since from what happened, Afton also made it to the human world, but he's like in a different like position, and maybe even in a whole different continent than Monica. But once the time comes, then I'm super worried since they're probably gonna meet up, and that's when Afton will try to full on murder Monica, and she may not. And the most scary thing about it is that she doesn't even know that he made it. Like, if she did, she would probably try to first find a way to defend herself in a way, maybe. I don't know. But she doesn't even know that he made it on. Like, all she knows is that she made it to the human world. Maybe she figured out, maybe in a future AOG clip or finale, she'll figure out where, like, where on Earth she is. Maybe she's in, I don't know, maybe she's in United States or something.
Well, I think the worst possible
but
timeline is that she ends up in Ohio.
okay. Yeah, so
What do you mean? Okay, I said that's. I wasn't saying that's what's gonna happen. I said, like I said, that's like the worst timeline because Ohio's crazy. Just like you just get like skeleton monsters come out of nowhere. You suddenly fall
Why,
into
have
the
you
back
ever
room.
been to Ohio?
Nope, but I've heard stories, and I've seen the memes.
You heard the scary stories about Ohio?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not welcome to Ohio, it's highway to heck, apparently.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but you get what I mean. She'll probably get her next objective is probably finding out where she is. Like, maybe she'll try to find a sign that will indicate where she is, because some countries do, like, say, like, hey, oh, welcome to this place, or whatever. And she'll probably figure out where she is, but we had to learn where where she is, so that way she can find civilization to talk to humans, or at least humans that can understand her. Because right now she speaks English, and like if she were to end up in Mexico, she would just be talking to, like, she would basically be like spatting out like gibberish to the to those guys since they speak Spanish. And I don't know if I'm just overthinking it, but that's probably what she's gonna do next, is what my guess is. But yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about this. I mean, these were more like I want to call them private conversations, but we've talked with or I've talked with Zach and Isabel about this kind of stuff before. Because obviously before the YouTube channel, they didn't really write theories on really anything, unless it was like a school project. But I don't think they ever did that. And so it didn't take long for Isabel to figure out. But I shouldn't say that. It took them both equally amount of time to figure out that, when it comes to theories, you have to be okay with the fact that you might be wrong. You have to be okay with the fact that you might overthink something. You have to be okay with the fact that what you're saying might not make any sense or it might not be correct, like that kind of thing. Because theories are, at the end of the day, theories. They're things that you're predicting, and if they come true, great. If they don't, then oh well, you tried, like that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that's the thing I try to achieve with theories. I don't care if I mean, I do try to care a little bit to, because I don't want to spit out random information that is obviously not true, but I honestly don't care what I, like, if I say, oh, Monica may, like, something as crazy as, oh, Nugget's gonna survive and escape and free all of his friends, like, obviously, that, I mean, it is a prediction, but I don't like saying things without at least some sort of evidence, because that just feels like I'm just spitting out random stuff without any evidence to back it up, or else I'm just going crazy, and and that's when you have a more higher chance of being incorrect. Whereas if you do take the time to like research about topic you're talking about, then you have a higher chance of being correct. You may not totally be correct, but that's okay, because theorizing is, like you said, it's about making predictions with evidence to back up, so you can you can you can say your ideas so that the other community can hear about it and give out their opinions.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a fun little thing we have over here, because you have to, when you make a YouTube channel, because there's so much noise, and by noise I mean there's so much YouTube channels. You have to find something that makes you special. You have to find something that makes you different from everybody else. And the thing that makes us different is that, well, first of all, we, the three of me, Zach, and Isabel, you won't find you. I know it's hard to believe, but you won't find us anywhere else in other channels, because that's not how that works. So I know, crazy idea, but so you won't find us anywhere. So that's one of the things that makes it special. But also the other thing is the ARG. The ARG is a custom story that no one else owns, that no one else has done, that no one else does anything with it. So it's literally just me, and obviously I work with people to make it happen, like voice actors and that kind of thing. But besides from them, it's just me. It's just me at the end of the day. Zach and Isabel, or like I said on the last video, they're just as blind as you guys are to certain things. And they don't get any input on, what goes into the story. They don't get any input on what's happening next. Like, that's why they're in the season finale video, like the live streams, so that I can talk with you guys. I don't talk in there as much, Bob, because obviously I made it. I'm not going to speak during it because I want you guys to just enjoy it. But yeah, so that's at the end of the day, it's all about community. It's all about it helps engage the community, like it helps you guys engage with each other, which I think really helps. I mean, you guys do a great job with that anyway. I'm just saying it helps, and all that kind of stuff. So it's all great in terms of that idea, yeah. So do you have I mean, I might already know the answer, but I think all the people are interested to know who your favorite character of the story is, and you can say any character that's fictional, real, or whatever. Well, not real, but you know what I mean. Like if they're made up or if they're a real character in an existing game.
Like my favorite character in the ARG?
Yeah, in the ARG itself, yeah.
Okay. That's kind of a tough one. I don't really have a favorite, but if I were to like choose one, I kind of want to go with okay, if I have a lot of predictions for Ashton, and if they are correct, then I know it's strange, but then he is kind of my favorite, because I feel like he's like obviously not your typical misunderstood villain, but like a villain that was kind of like, because I made the theory that he was also first to work with MDAC, but he just had to accept where he was because he realized he couldn't fight back. And if that turns out to be true, then that just it wouldn't make me like feel bad for him, but it would just make me like him even more, since I kind of like those kinds of characters. Obviously, if they're like one of those boring villains with just like the typical sad backstory of, oh, my wife left me or something. Obviously, that's not what happened to all of those villains, but that's just an example. But if you do it, once you do it right, making a villain that is obviously not in, that has a misunderstood backstory, but obviously not in the way that makes it so obvious and annoying, but in the way that just makes just adds a whole different level of of a character on them. And to me, that's interesting. So right now, I'm gonna go with Ashton. I know it's kind of strange, but that's my vote.
I mean, my favorite character in Infinity War is Thanos, just because he's so sick looking, but also because he's cool. He's like, you can. It's all right to like villains. They're at the end of the day, it's a story, so it's not actually happening or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes down to a lot of things. This because we did polls, or MDSC did polls rather, of asking her favorite character. You can only give 5 options because that's how YouTube polls work. So there's only 5 choices, but out of the 5, Nugget won both times. So I was in my media mind when I said I think I know what it is already. I was just assuming that it was Nugget, because he's Nugget. So
Yeah. You when we go to our memes, he usually reads all of our theories, but my most recent theory was that those like polls, like MDAC has something to do with that, like that virus guy that keeps on showing up because like I think MDAC just like they were asking us who our favorite character is so they can just kill him off because that's MDAC for you. And they either made or like I think they made the virus maybe to act as another threat, but directly to us. So it doesn't make it sound like MDC is the one hurting us, but instead it's someone that they try not to make it look like that they're connected. But my theory was that just to summarize it, I think that MDC and that virus guy are connected, and because Nugget won both times in that poll of who your favorite character was, MDC did that on purpose so he would so they could just send off the virus guy to threat us to kill him unless if we gave them the command, which would give MDC a command to do something. Obviously, it said that the virus guy wanted to invade, but he could be talking about many other things. Like, it could also be referring to MDAC wanting to invade. So, yeah, that was my theory. Like I said, I like making theories that involve original characters because you have a much more of a variety of ideas, so that way you can theorize more about the character as a whole, and that's just what I like about that's just what I like about MDAC and all of your other original characters. So yeah.
yeah, and it was interesting when MDSC was brought up and like Ashton was brought up and the CEO or whatever. It was interesting to see people's like reactions to be like, oh, is this the new villain, or is it like it was always confusion at first, and then now that we're so deep into it and you guys have so much information about MDSC at this point because they had a whole season to themselves and they still kind of are going. And like that kind of idea. You've seen the test clips, which is theorized to be MDC's doing. You've seen like all sorts of other things that you theorize to be MDC. So like all these things, you have a lot of information about MDC, and you're at first, like I just mentioned, you're like, oh, are these guys new villains? What's going on here? And then now you guys are at a point where you're like, oh crap, these guys are serious. They're actually terrible people. They're terrible. They're a corrupted company, like that kind of thing. And I think we talked about it earlier, but I think in Chosen's season 7 finale theory, he kind of outlines, like again in his theory, it's a theory, so it's not proven obviously, but in his theory he like tells a story that he thinks because similar to Far Cry 5 actually, in the season 7 finale, you are viewing a silent protagonist. You're viewing someone that doesn't speak, and so at that point it's kind of up to the viewers and up to the theorists to decide who you're playing as. And in order to do that, you gotta pick up context clues. You gotta figure out why they're looking at something for so long, like all that kind of stuff. And in that theory that we read in Chosen Theory, which I believe is still up, you can go look at it now. He told a story about who he thinks it is and why he thinks he's down there. And like all that kind of stuff. And at the end, he mentioned that if this is MDC's doing, like he's never trusting them ever again, or like whatever he said at the end of it. And I just, it was just a very interesting thing to read. But there we go. So that is the carousel. So we got all those done. So this is going to be the end of this. For us, we did this in one session, but this for you guys, this is going to be the end of the video. And let me know if you want to see more Powerwash Power Hours. They're really fun to record because Powerwash is a surprisingly fun game. I think I would like Powerwash in real life too. I don't like cleaning like certain things, but power washing is really fun. So, but if you want to see more Powerwash Power Hours, I have more people that I could do this with. So yeah, there's a lot more that could be coming up. So let me know if you want to see more of them. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. So if you guys want to check out the other Powerwash Power Hours that I've done, you can check that out on the left. I believe I mentioned this in the last one with Isabel, where I mentioned who I've done it with before. I've done it with John, I've done it with Axel, I've done it with John and Axel at the same time, so it's really cool, so go check it out. And if you're watching this in the distant future, then there could be even more beyond me and Isabel. So there might be, we'll see about a Zachary one. I mean, if I do an Isabel one, I probably should just do a Zachary one, but my one concern with him is he's so ugly that just kind of
ugly loser.
Wouldn't make much sense. But we'll see. But I also need to make sure he has the game because I knew Isabel already got the game, but I wasn't sure if that did. Yeah. So there's him. If that ends up happening, there's actually a new person that's going to be on the channel sometime soon that I could do one with, and all that great stuff. So yeah, a lot of people. So. Yeah, you can check that out on the left, and then on the right, you can check out, maybe I'll link the podcast, because this is basically like a podcast, just minus the podcast element of it being a podcast. Yeah, check out the podcast. It's called The Brokers. We mentioned it, I think, in this video and in the last one, so go check that out on the right. We have about again, I don't know when this video goes out for you guys, but I want to say I know we're beyond season 1 at this point, so we have tons of episodes for you to go listen to, so go listen to them. And, yeah, if you like the content you're seeing, please consider subscribing. Try to have a secret can around here, except for Lewis Man, because Lewis equals Luigi, and no one likes if I true Luigi to anything in this game. It'd be that distant tree over there, the tree that's not even rendered in the game. That's how ugly it is.
Yeah, doesn't even deserve to be rendered in. Imagine.
Exactly. Imagine being so irrelevant in a video game. Yeah, so we don't play these games because they're stupid. I already mentioned the podcast, so check out the merch store. For you guys, it's been a while. For us, it just kind of happened, but we released a new line of merch. So we have all the posters. The season 1 to 5 posters are out now, so if you have a poster collection going, you can get those as well. MDSC, the people we talked about this entire time, we have we have 3 pieces of merch for you if you're interested in them. We have stickers, a button, and my favorite item to ever grace the store, which is a official operative or MDSC operative jacket. So if you want to work for MDSC, not really because they're fake, but if you want to work for MDSC, you can get that jacket. It has some secrets on it. It has a lot of cool things in it. So go check it out. It's really cool. And it's a jacket, so if you like wearing jackets, it can double as a rain jacket. You can wear it just as a jacket for other purposes. So there's a lot of things you could use it for. I think it's really cool. Like I said, it's the best thing to me that's ever come to the store. Yeah, so check that out. And then we have a couple additions, so like the puzzles, and I think we have a magnet as well. So lots of cool stuff, and of course everything that's been in there originally, like the t-shirts and all that stuff. I'm actually going to be trying to work on some more t-shirts at some point soon. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.